Hello everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS here in the AI server. I am one of your lovely hosts today. I am Noodle or Pasta or Udon, or whichever variation thereof y'all are feeling like today. And we have yet another visitor to One U audience. Because, fun fact everybody, this is one of several FPSs following the game for Grimm Crowley's, or Crowley. I might be pronouncing it wrong. We don't know. I'm gonna keep talking. Uh, that interview on the Late Night Speechbubble. So, massive spoiler warning here for that, as well as tentative medium, high angst warning, guys. We got plot stuff here. Um, and speaking of plot stuff and the mastermind behind this absolutely awesome, fun roller coaster of emotions that has been the Overblots and all of that, which is so much fun, and I love the creativity behind it, and I am so happy to be once again playing with my very good friend who has great ideas and fun characters, and I will keep going until you stop me because haha,
Ooh!
get loved, friend, you fool.
Ah! Mean to me.
Very mean to you.
Hi, I'm Gail. I'm dying. I was getting better at compliments and then I took a break for a day and now I'm falling apart again. Hi, I'm Gail. I'm also here. I am the main DM for the Overblot series, which has been a wild thing that people have been indulging me in and I have been enjoying very much. Because I get to play with my friends and make silly monsters and fun puzzles that deal with characters' trauma. I love magic therapy. It's so much less expensive than real therapy. Anyway, I am also here and I am playing uh the boy himself, Yu Audience, who is receiving many guests this week. So many guests.
Yeah, yeah. He certainly got some messages about. Well, he saw them. He didn't quite get direct info yet
Mm-hmm.
in the chat, but he probably got information from talking to, his other two friends that have shown up.
Yeah, he's gotten a little bit of an update from Camille and Arata, who have come by
Mhm,
to visit.
mhm. Yeah, so speaking of that, at this point in the day, it is probably closer to evening, around the time of sunset, or, well, you could honestly call it the golden hour, because a certain someone, uh, did not handle any of the information received in that interview well, at all. Um, and hey, you, why don't you just roll me a perception?
Let's roll that Persepi.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20. Let's go. He's gotten used to this.
Delightful. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. 'Cause you you has probably gotten very used to the fact that Jubilee does not announce himself often. Uh, Usually you finds out that Jubilee has come to visit with his door being opened already, having been unlocked 5 seconds beforehand.
Without
Uh,
access to his house keys.
yeah, just normal things. Normal, awful, terrible crime boy things. But no.
This silly,
So,
silly bird.
yeah, so you is able to pick up on a few things. For one, he does hear the familiar cadence of heeled boots approaching his door.
Click, 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 click.
Um, mhm, yeah. And he does hear the familiar knock that is often quite rhythmic and is probably whichever song is stuck in Jubilee's head. Um, this time it's not so rhythmic. It's a little more steady, a little more metronome. Um, and there is no sound of the lock being picked.
That's unusual and concerning. And you will frown and set down whatever it was he was doing. Um, and he will walk over to his front door and open it and raise an eyebrow at Jubilee. Just something is definitely wrong. You never have manners.
I can have manners sometimes. You're so fucking normal, aren't you? Of course you hand me this. Thanks so much, Juby. Thank you so much. That's deception. I don't know. Can you beat that? You can probably beat that.
He has a +10 to his perception. He could, to his insight. He can certainly fucking try.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we get. As soon as
Oh
DMV
boy.
stops being a whore. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
27 just beats it.
Yeah. Um, because there's probably something that's, sticks out. Because on one hand, Juby's a very, very good actor. However, there is one thing that Yu sees him wearing that might set off a few alarm bells because Yu has only seen him wear this once before. And that is a tattered leather jacket that is stained in several places with blue ink and seems to be sort of patched up, but the hem is completely ragged and torn and definitely stained with dark black ink. Because the last time that Jubilee wore this coat was when he overblotted. And he is standing on the other side of the door, arms crossed, puffed up, looking like he is trying to, be as bombastic as usual, but there is a definite note that he is bothered.
All right. Come on. Don't stand and haunt the doorway. In you go.
I'm not haunting anything. I am very alive, thank you. Um, but he does
Says the man who
wander
will
in.
says the man who will usually take any opportunity he gets to brag about how many times he's died.
Yeah. But he goes in and finds a spot to lean against the counter in the kitchen.
And you will grab a plate with a sandwich and a slice of tart from the fridge and push that into Jubilee's hands before going to put the kettle on for tea.
Like, you don't need to fuss so much. You've probably already had guests today. I I meant to be by earlier. I didn't. Ugh.
Shush, let me feed you.
I ate. I'm fine.
Somebody needs to eat my cooking, man. I can't, and I have way too much of it. So, you are helping
Get it?
me by eating my food. Do it.
I know. I know. Fine. Fine. Yes. Right. And he
And he will
does.
also be, like, affectionately shooed out of the kitchen to go sit on the couch.
Yeah, he goes after a minute. It takes him like you does have to shoo him because Juby seems to get lost for a second um in his own head before he is pushed and goes and sits. Um he's still handing me things. I am so freaking sorry. Oh, bird boy. Shit.
Another deception.
No, that's not deception. That's a plus 17. What's used perception?
Passive or regular?
Regular.
Let me roll.
Mhm.
27. because that's another
Yeah.
nat 20. He is doing really good on the perception today.
Mhm. He is not wanting the bird to get away with shit. He has clued in something is wrong.
Jubilee
um,
didn't bust his door down. That's concerning. Jubilee is never polite.
yeah, it doesn't quite match, but you is able to see that the food on the plate is no longer there between one glance and the next. Um, but it definitely doesn't look like Juby ate it that fast. He doesn't know where it went or how it vanished, but it's not there. But he probably didn't eat it.
Ah, it's been hammer spaced.
It's a fair guess.
Well, there's no presence of a certain murder bird, so
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know. You has not been looking for the murder bird.
you know what? Can I roll off my two nat 20s to check
Yeah.
for the murder bird?
Yes, Blackberry is nowhere to be seen. There is no crow in this vicinity. They are not here.
And you will just glance up at the juice that is still on the ceiling and say a silent prayer of thanks.
Yeah, and the thing
because
too, they
that
aren't
would be a hell of
outside
a
the
thing to
window.
explain to the landlord.
Yeah, yeah. And with those two nat 20s too, they're not outside the window either. Or like even like looking and being like, hey, is this bird anywhere? Because usually they're somewhere by Juby. Nope, nowhere.
Hmm. I see you got away from your parole officer.
Eh, I've had time to get used to figuring out how to avoid them. I didn't want to have a babysitter around.
Fair enough. Although, usually, when someone tries to escape their babysitter, it's because they're going to do something that'll get them in trouble. Are you in trouble?
Eh, no, not this time. Not in trouble. I
Uh,
mean, I don't think I'm in trouble unless there's suddenly, a law against getting rid of, conveniently placed boulders, which I have been doing for several years at this point, and no one's come after me for that, so I don't think I'm in trouble.
if anything, you're doing a public service. And
Eh,
the tea kettle will give a very bright whistle,
hmm
and you will pour 2 cups of tea, hand one to Jubilee, plop down on the couch next to him, and then poke him in the side. Okay, spell.
Well, considering I'm probably not the first person to have come by to visit, uh, you were probably given a heads up that uh the fucker somehow got into Inkwell for how fucking long that stupid interview was.
Yeah, I heard something of the sort.
Hmm.
I would like to apologize on his behalf. He is a twat.
Why the fuck are you apologizing for him?
Because
He,
I hated having to deal with him, and I wouldn't wish him on my worst enemy, much less one of my best friends.
yeah, well, unfortunately, you can't get up on stage from the audience, otherwise there would have been several stabbings. So he was saved only by that virtue. Ugh. And Juby is putting down the teacup. Um, I need to roll more things. We're fine. We're good. We're fine. We're chill. This one is not deception or anything of the sort. Cool. He is able to, with a flick of his wrist, from Hammerspace summon a poker chip and is fidgeting by walking that back and forth across his knuckles and tossing it from hand to hand. As he cannot sit still right now. Um, and he's quiet for a second before just, do I even want to ask? Like, I mean, I knew shit was fucked up. I knew it was. I really kind of got that from the whole situation. Um, and aside from the fact that you feel the need to apologize for just how fucking full of himself that Peckneck was. No, no, Peckneck is too nice. I don't think I know an insult that is strong enough for that waste of air. How the fuck did you put up with that?
Uh, Years of patience and occasional memory wipes, apparently.
Hmm. Right. That. Right. Professor did write about that, didn't he? Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Grand. Grand. This. He's trying so hard. He's trying so hard. There is a deep breath that is let out in a hiss. Uh, and he just has to take a second to try and collect himself again. Um, and again, we're going to keep rolling because those were two nat 20s in a row, and that deserves to be honored. Um, yeah, there is something else. Um, you hasn't heard this in Juby's speech before either. There's a constant underlying hiss to it, like, well, like a very pissed off bird. It is very owl-like, as can be expected, but it is just this constant hiss under his words.
Angy boy.
Yeah. And it is very clear he is trying to keep that in check. Uh, how successful he is we'll see. It's just of all of that. I mean, I've asked before, I've asked now. How are you holding up with that?
Honestly, I I'm fine. I Most of what people have told me that they learned about him is stuff I could have told you for free. It's
Mhm.
yeah, the guy is a narcissist and a bastard and has no regard for the lives of those around him. In other news, the sky is blue, water is wet, and things dropped from a height will be pulled towards the current center of gravity. He's just kind of like that. And I mean, yeah, the
I,
Overblot being
as,
his fault is new information, but honestly not surprising. Just
like,
kind of
that's fucked up.
disappointing.
I think it's a little more than disappointing. He's responsible, and not only that, he fucking remembers the exact number of people who have died to this shit. You, uh,
Well, yeah, he can feel
mhm.
every. Why do I know that?
What do you mean?
That's annoying. Uh, Sorry.
Care to explain?
Eh, it's a thing that happens. Sometimes I just know shit. I don't know how I know shit, but sometimes I know shit about how the Overblot works. Apparently, the reason
Mhm.
Crowley knows the number is because that's. I mean, one, he feels every single one that happens, which makes sense if it's basically just a billion offshoots of his case. And two, that's how big his fucking key collection is, which explains why he always had so many keys on him.
So he fucking knew the whole time, and he
Assumably.
just let it all happen because he couldn't be asked to care.
I think he was more focusing on figuring out a way to get rid of it rather than a way to prevent it, because getting rid of it would
Oh,
look better for his image.
yeah, he talked about that. He has his whole little plan, doesn't he? That
Huh?
we got a whole another thing. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh boy. Yeah. Sorry, you. Juby has stood up and is pacing. Um, and again is still fidgeting with that poker chip as he paces and just oh no, no, he talked about his plan to get rid of it and how apparently he has no concept of people being, individuals if they are something to play into that. No, I'd like to think, I do. I like to think I have progressed, that I am, you know, doing a lot better than I used to be. However, if anything could tip me into a proper fucking villain arc, it would be that fucking bastard and the way he fucking talked about you. Have you? No, no, you probably don't. You don't need to remember that because that's.
Huh?
Hmm. He
Remember
talks about
what?
he talked about you like you're a fucking object, you, not like you're a person.
Well, that doesn't really surprise me, Juby. No one there saw me as a person. I was half a person at best.
Ex fucking excuse me?
Haven't I told you about this? I was only considered half a student during my time at Night Raven. Dyer was considered the other half of me. If because I didn't have magic and didn't speak the local language, I was kind of, people didn't see me as like them. I was different, so I wasn't really a person. I was, at best, something convenient, at worst, something to be ignored, or made fun of, or exploited. Usually that last thing.
Fuck. That's not in character. That's uh hmm. Mm. Well, Juby stopped pacing. He's certainly handed me some emotions. Oh God. Um, yeah, hey you. Hey you. Your very good friend has stopped pacing, and you can no longer see the outline of his eye in his glasses, and the shade of pink is looking a lot less pink and more red. As he has gone silent and looks like he has skipped several frames.
Ah, you is just getting this impression of, oh, I fucked up.
They did what? You you want to run that by me again? Just I know I can't do fuck all about it now. Ah, considering, well, I don't know magical pecking bullshit. I couldn't go across worlds to get back there, but hmm, just in case some random strange coincidence were to happen and just run that by me just a bit, just a bit. You wanna what?
Oh boy, and now I have to roll something. Fuck. Yep, that's not gonna work.
Uh-oh.
So, Noodle, feel free to have Jubilee roll insight.
Yeah, let's see.
Insight or perception, or both if you want.
We'll roll insight because that's a little bit better than his percepi. Yeah, that's 24.
Okay, so the words that come out of Yu's mouth next, before he says them, he looks like he's very clearly fighting against them. Like, he very much doesn't want to say the next things that come out of his mouth because he knows they're going to upset Juby worse. But he also can't seem to stop himself. And he says, well, yeah, a lot of the time in the mirror, I was made to solve other people's problems. I was the one who handled all of the overblots, of course, but I also had to deal with things like the spell drive incidents and the fairy gala and the VDC and the fucking museum heist to get the photo for Azul and the dealing with Jamil going nutso bananas with Scarivia and of course, the incident where we had to break into the government to steal not friends, classmates. We had to steal the upperclassmen back because they got kidnapped, because they had been overblotted before and they were being experimented on. So we had to break into a government facility and break them out. Um, I oh god, why did I say all that? I shouldn't have said all that.
Um, well then, that's certainly fucking something. Yeah. Grand.
Um, Sorry. Do you mind if I finish what I was saying?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Because you pauses for a second because he's like, why did I say that? I shouldn't have fucking said that. And then he keeps talking and is just like, oh yeah, and there was also the thing where like I was given a house, but the house was really broken down and also super duper hella stupidly haunted. And I had to fix it, and that was annoying, and it kept getting wrecked, and I kept having to refix it, except for one time when we got the VDC money and they were able to fix my house for me, and that was really nice. But also, I had to work at the general store to be able to afford food because Crowley did not pay for that. Uh, and that really sucked, especially in the summer when I couldn't go and get a free meal from the cafeteria every day. Sam was nice though. I liked working for Sam, and please stop me. Please tell me to stop. There's
Oh,
and he cuts himself off completely.
what the fuck? Does that just happen every time there's a request?
Kind of. Um, I've been trying to
Uh,
ignore it.
mhm, mhm. Right, right.
I
Here's
One
something
second.
going forward.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you gets up from the couch, marches over to the fridge, throws it open, and inside there are a couple of those, like, you know, the drink coolers that have the little spigot on the outside?
Mm-hmm.
Inside there are two of those. One is full of the familiar bright golden yellow potion that Jubilee would recognize as lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
The other is filled with a strange bright blue potion, and you grabs a glass from the counter and fills that up and chugs it like he's taking a shot. Um, and Jubilee sees some of the ink that had started to creep up the sides of his chest and his neck again
Mm-hmm.
stop in place.
Okay. A few things. First, that's new.
Huh?
That potion. I don't recognize that one. That's new.
It's a combination of basically magical disinfectant and uh, calm emotions in a bottle, kind of, but not fully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I used to use it back at the lounge whenever I would be singing and um, between sets, my throat would start to split itself open because, haha, old trade hurts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I had this drink that I would order, and then I would put some of this in it, and that would be enough to get me through the rest of the set so that I could finish the show and keep up my end of the deal. But I usually don't have to drink it this concentrated. But it turns out it works really good for high stress situations. Would you like some?
Mm-hmm. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Second question, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. However, that gets around. If I say something, would it stick? Like if I gave, I hate wording it like this, but some kind of command to override, like saying, don't listen to anything like that, or sort of just as an example, you fuck. Sounds like fucking bullshit Fey rules, and I haven't visited my sisters in quite long enough to get the fucking words remembered. Mm-hmm.
It would be bullshit Fey rules, wouldn't it? He kind
It
of sigh.
sounds like it.
He kind of sighs and walks back over and flops down on the couch. I don't know. It's some Ella enchanted ass bullshit. I don't like it. Like I said, I've been trying to ignore it, and sometimes I can fight against it. It's gotten worse. Sometimes I don't even notice I'm doing it. It's.
Hmm.
I'm usually a lot better at lying.
I know the feeling. Hey, you, just question again. How about, going forward here, but I'm just going to make this statement. Going forward, if I ever say anything that is akin to a command, feel free to ignore it. You do not have to listen to anything I say if it sounds like a command. We'll say that's the only thing if it is anything like a command to follow. Just, you can deny anything I say if you want. But how against murder are you? Just generally. Generally.
Uh, generally,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, usually murder is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not okay things are necessary. I would be
Mm-hmm.
lying if I said I hadn't considered it in this scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I for all the crimes I've committed, and I have quite the rap sheet, we'll just say that. Uh, and I used to brag about it quite often. Don't as much anymore, but let's just say, well, fuck, you were there. You would know I have ruined quite enough lives in my time. Never actually killed anyone before, but I might consider that fucker the first. Just the one and only. Just get rid of him completely. Just, I've. Oh, I could call in a favor too and see that he is completely ripped from time and existence itself if I could. Don't think that would be allowed. Think that might no, that might overstretch, but I would really think about it. And I really can't steal the thing that would do that, even though I know it could. Hmm. Really considering it right now. Hmm. Because you don't fucking do this to a person, you don't in any capacity, no matter how much you. I have hated people. I have really hated people before. I have not respected them. I have seen them as, stepping stones before. Clearly, I have. If I was any fucking thing like I was in the past, if I was anything like the villain I thought I was. But I never stooped that fucking low. I never. Not once. Not even once. And even, people around who I've seen, who I've thought, no, surely, I'm not that bad. No, I was never that bad in the people I've come up against, who I have seen as greater villains than I could have been. No, no. Even they are nothing compared to this, and that is an evil that needs to be struck from the world in totality. And, and yeah, uh, yeah, hasn't been rolling real great on his deception, but uh, there's some very familiar theatrics that are popping up that have not shown up in a while. But again, um, this is a very specific act that, again, has not been seen since the last time he wore this coat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jubilee himself is. I'm not gonna keep rambling. Um, but he has no doubt started pacing again and is ranting. And it is pretty clearly tipping towards not quite manic, but yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's familiar and not in a good way.
Yeah, no. And you will notice this and considers his actions for a minute. Um, and then he will set down his drink with on the coffee table with a little clink. Stand up,
Mhm.
walk over to Jubilee, and open arms to offer the bird a hug.
Yeah. And it's he turns on his heel in his pacing and sees you like that. And again, there is a very noticeable frame skip. Um, there's one, two, um, before he visibly deflates and the red tint of his glasses fades closer to pink again. And he walks over and just collapses against you, holding him as tight as he possibly can.
And you is holding back as tight as he can manage and is just in Jubilee's ear, very quiet, just, I get being mad about it. Trust me, I do. And I can't tell you how nice it feels to have somebody angry on my behalf. But please don't do anything that's going to hurt you on account of him. He's not worth it. And don't do it on account of me because I wouldn't want you to be hurt.
It's not fair.
I know.
It's, it's not fair.
I know it's not.
We haven't figured out a way to not. I don't want to lose somebody I care about because we can't stop the bad guy. We have. That's that's what always happens. We always manage to stop him. We always manage to stop the villains, and that's how it goes. And it always goes like that, and it's not fair. And you don't. It's not fair. And I don't. You deserve fucking better than this, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't be going like this. And I'm sorry. And I didn't want to be so pissed off. and be a complete wreck here.
It's okay. It's You're right. It's not fair and it's not right, and it really does feel like it should have an easier answer. It's okay to be angry about it. It's okay to be upset. It's definitely something to be upset about. I would be upset if I could afford to be, but
I'm not gonna let you die.
I know you won't.
Even if you get near that line, I'm pulling you across. Fucking do it. You don't you don't get to cross yet. That's not a good story. It's not the way it should end.
I know. And trust me, I'm doing my best to stick around. Quite frankly, I don't want to lose you either.
That's the hard part. It's, you're very much stuck with me. Like, terrible about letting go of people.
Well, maybe that'll work to your benefit. I've been known to slip out of people's hands, apparently.
Possible. Not gonna happen. And as he says that, he wraps his wings around you as well in kind of like a second hug and just is not letting his friend go.
We'll figure something out, Juby. I promise. I'm doing my best to not go anywhere, and I want to find a way to fix this. And who knows, maybe along the way, we will get to kick that son of a bitch's ass.
Oh, I don't make promises. I I want to make promises and I want to think I'm better than it, but apparently I still get really not quite good at handling being angry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Sometimes when sometimes when something is so supremely and ridiculously unfair, it helps to rage at it. It helps to get angry because if you try to tell yourself not to get angry, you just let it hurt you. Sometimes anger is your way of feeling like you can do something about a situation that's too big or too scary or too far away to handle properly. I'm not going to begrudge you that.
Yeah.
And as much as you're going off about how if anything would send you into a proper villain arc, it would be this, I do have to point out to you that that is almost classical mythology levels of heroic motivation. You absolute goober.
Well, ah, I suppose it does make more sense considering some things.
Anger isn't an evil emotion, Juby. It's your heart's way of telling you something that you probably already know but can't do anything with.
Yeah, it's just not. It tends to be very explosive in my case, and I don't want people to get caught up in the shrapnel. That's it.
And that's a noble thing to want. You're doing really good.
He just kind of sighs and like bonks his forehead against his shoulder and grumbles and just, fuck's sake, get mad at me or something. I've been making a complete mess of this place and I came in here and started ranting.
I don't think I could get mad at you if I tried. And
Deserved it.
no offense, I love you, but I am not. I love you, man, but not enough to kill myself on your behalf.
Fuck. Don't even joke about that, please. Ah,
If I don't joke about it, I'll cry about it, so we go with the option that's less destructive.
all right. Ah, okay. Fuck, okay. All right. What do we do?
I don't know. And I know that's not a satisfying answer. I need to talk to some people. Maybe Crystal, if she's not too far along to be talked to about this stuff. Maybe the professor, he's been a lot of help.
Mhm.
I I think it's one of those situations where the only way out is through, but I'd have to figure out how not to lose my head in the process. So, I've been trying to research working towards that. And he kind of gives Juby a squeeze and says, if I do figure it out, you're one of the people I'm calling to deal with my nonsense.
Should certainly hope so. If not, I'll just show up anyway.
Yes, show up 2 minutes late to the Overblot fight with Starbucks.
No joke, I'll start taking trains everywhere just to be certain that I don't miss plot. And if we can't find another way, I have favors I could call in. I don't know. It I don't want it to come to that. I don't know what to do, but we're not gonna let the worst happen. Okay.
Okay.
That assurance, and apparently all your rambling about legends and heroic figures and that is, well,
What, you're gonna walk down into the pits of Hades and sing him a little song that'll let me get out?
well, I don't quite know Hades, but I'm pretty certain I could find a way and cross a line and ask one of two ladies that I know if they might let you back for whatever it might cost me.
No, don't make that
Yes.
bargain. No, Jubilee. I have dealt with Fae for 4 years. Do not offer whatever it takes. That is a surefire way to lose your fucking soul, and I would
I
not forgive you if you did that.
I don't think either of my mothers is going to take my soul.
Blink, blink, blink.
He pulls back and just looks down and it's like, you. Ah, right. So about what you told me with the irony of the name I picked. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I might have mentioned my patron, um, who is very fond of me, and kind of adopted me. Uh, so that's my mum and my actual mother may be a uh goddess of limbo and crossing over between life and death.
And you just leans forward and bonks his head against Juby's collarbone. Just, of course. Of course you would have that connection. Why am I not surprised?
So, like I said, I won't go making deals with Faye, but family, I think I can probably stack the odds in my favor. Or at least try to.
Just don't give away anything you can't afford to lose. Don't do anything that's going to get you hurt.
All right. I'll promise it. How about that? And he re- like frees you from one arm in his hug and holds out his pinky. So you know I'm serious. I
And
won't go making any deals that get me hurt.
and you will hook his pinky with Jubilee's and say, "I'll hold you to that."
All right. It's set, and the universe itself will ensure that I'm not a reckless idiot who goes and does that.
Good. And he kind of uh, teasingly gives Juby a light punch in the chest. Just, I think you need a bit of universal help with that.
Yes. Well, I'm doing better. Haven't lost my temper like this in a while.
And the only casualties were some rocks in the desert.
Yeah, and I think I got a new hole scorched in this. Fuck.
Yeah, Jubilee, that coat's a mess.
I would have worn one of my other ones. I just forgot it got cold. The desert. I wasn't thinking.
Here, give it here.
Fine. And he shrugs out of it. And yeah, even like when he takes it off, it is clear this thing is a complete mess. Like even the back, where normally his jackets are, very neatly stitched to accommodate for his wings and stuff. No, it just looks like there was stitching that was there before that's just been ripped open to accommodate the wings. This thing is barely holding itself together.
Jubilee, this is held together with duct tape and a prayer. What the hell? This
It
poor coat.
usually it stays in hammer space as a reminder. I don't usually wear it. I, I mean, I've tried to put it back together. I'm just not that good at stitching.
I am. I'm very good at sewing. I'm stealing your jacket and I'm going to do a bunch of sewing on it to make it pretty again.
I, I mean, uh,
This is not a
okay,
request. This is a thing that I'm
okay.
doing. You do not have a choice.
Uh, so you just like stealing my jackets now? Is that a thing?
Apparently.
Am I going to have any left at this point? I just need to never wear a jacket around you, otherwise it's going to be yours.
Okay, in my defense, you gave me the first one and it only exists in inky hellscape. And this one I am borrowing to fix. If you wear a jacket that
Mhm.
doesn't need fixing, you can keep it.
Mhm. How do I know what your standard of needs fixing is? You might find a loose string and be like, "Well, I need this," and then I never get it back. And it's just you're borrowing it, and then borrowing turns into several months, and then, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just never giving this back now.
You just flicks him in the shoulder.
He snorts. It's a fair question. You might do it. I don't know.
Between the two of us, who has more of a reputation for being a thief?
I would never, I would never steal clothing from anyone. I am an upstanding citizen in that one arena. I have only lawfully purchased clothing. I I am the aggrieved party in this. I have had things stolen from me.
Raised eyebrows.
Leo stole like at least 3 of my sweaters, okay? They're like I haven't taken them back, but I know he took them.
I think that's just the consequences of having a sibling, Jubilee.
Yeah.
Especially a sibling
But
who's roughly the same size as you. I
oh,
I
yeah.
never had siblings back at home, but I did. My my best friend Rio had a sister, and those two would constantly be stealing from each other's closets and arguing over who wore it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would usually
Yeah.
say the answer was Rio, but that's just because he was very pretty.
Hmm. No bias there. Absolutely not.
Oh no, I will fully admit to my bias. Are you kidding? That's my best friend you're talking about. Of course I'm fucking biased to like how he looks in something better than his sister.
Hmm. Hmm. So if that argument were to happen, with things, if any of my siblings stole any of my clothing and they got into an argument over who wore it better, you would definitely answer I did.
Hmm. Well, I suppose that depends.
Mm. No, you you have to be biased in my favor.
Do I now?
Yes, because I am the prettiest one in that household, therefore you should be biased in my favor.
Hmm. Well, I suppose you do have a point there.
Hmm.
I will do my best to be biased in your favor and sway the judgment.
Good.
I will rig the votes for you because
As
I
you
am a
should.
good friend.
Hmm. Hmm. And because I am genuinely the prettiest one in that house. Full stop.
Not that you're vain or anything.
Oh no, I fully admit to that. I am just vain with good reason.
Are you sure you're an owl and not a peacock?
Oh, I've been compared to the latter plenty.
Hmm. Maybe I could put that kind of design on the edges of this.
I certainly wouldn't be against it.
Peacock feathers are pretty.
Mm. And who knows, maybe where do I somewhere in here? And he starts going through his hammer space and eventually is able to pull out a choker um and looks quite proud of himself as he finds it and is just like, ah,
Ooh,
With
shiny.
this, I could. Mhm. If it's got a disguise enchantment on it. If I wanted, I probably could change around my feathers. I mean, I've thought about it before, but I never really put it into practice. But if, per se, I had a really good-looking coat that would go well with them.
Hmm. You kind of taps his fingers against his lip in that very obviously thinking about a creative project sort of way.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Well, you
Maybe
know,
instead of maybe instead
mhm.
of a peacock, a phoenix. Given your whole you.
Hmm. Well, that does sound fun.
I hardly think you're the sort of person to object to wearing excessive amounts of gold.
Oh, me? No. I would never wear excessive amounts of gold. Totally not. Not as if I have projects that are going to give me more shiny gold things to wear.
Oh?
They're not stolen. It's not a heist.
That is
So, again, not stealing.
that is
I have
not a
not stolen
comforting
shiny.
thing to hear, Jubilee.
Well, it's not this time. I've stolen. Okay, so I did steal some jewelry that I wear. Only some.
Did you steal it from rich people?
I mean, does it count? Does it count as stealing? I mean, it's kind of. I don't know if it was.
If it's from rich
Mm,
people, then it is morally correct.
it wasn't from rich people. They're like. They were dead for a very, very long time. And it was kind of left.
Jubilee!
It's kind of it's a very long story. But it was very pretty.
That's grave robbing, Jubilee!
If it was left behind in a bathhouse, I don't think a bathhouse counts as a grave.
It does if the stuff there belongs to dead people!
Well, I mean,
It's not
the
like it's a thrift shop where somebody brought their dead relatives shit.
well, I mean, nobody stopped me or got upset about it. And like, they know I took it. The people, the ones that were left there, they know I have it. It's not like I could hide it forever. Didn't have to put it back.
Squints.
I did to you. They know I as soon as you do not have to deal with the all of this bullshit, I am taking you to Halloween Town, and we are going to go talk to the very nice mechanical grandmother who knows I took things from the bathhouse, and she will confirm my story that I am not in trouble for having any of the things I took.
You are such a bird.
Yes, that it's very fucking obvious.
It really
Were the
is.
feathers and the chirping not enough? And the flying and all and that, yeah. How do I make it more obvious that I am part bird, you? I genuinely do not know at this point. What else do I have to do?
Apparently by stealing shiny things.
Why do you I've done that for far longer than I've even had wings, let's be honest.
You didn't always have wings?
No, for this was a recent development as of 2, 3 years ago.
Huh. Wild. That must have felt
It
weird.
it was not good because I was supposed to have them, but consequences of the first time I died. Ah,
Yeah, I
it
really
was
can't.
not.
I really can't imagine what you'd look like without them. Not gonna lie. Like, I can try, but it just feels weird.
Yeah.
You look so much smaller.
Hey.
You do! Your silhouette doesn't take up nearly as much space!
Okay, all right, that's fair. I'm.
You look like a sad, wet cat!
Hey. All right, all right. Hey, hold on, hold on. Hey, look, I look. The rings can vanish. I have some bullshit things that let me transform and hide shit if I need to, and the wings can poof, and I'm okay with that now. Where, but I don't look smaller without them. I feel insulted now. It's
Well, at
almost
least.
as bad as calling me shorter than someone.
I mean, if you are physically shorter than somebody, that is a fact of science, Jubilee. I'm shorter than a
Don't
lot of
remind
people. You don't see me
don't
getting.
remind me that I'm shorter than people. I should be taller than some people. I should not be shorter than people. It feels weird.
You're only what, like 6 foot?
6'5", excuse you.
Okay, I've met people in this world who are like 7 foot, 8 foot something, just
Yes, I've
walking
also
down the
met
fucking
Tone,
street.
thank you. I have to deal with that crisis.
Yeah, that man's scary.
I. Yes, he can be very scary. The first time I met him, I thought he was going to arrest me.
Ooh, that's
Ugh.
not a fun introduction to anyone.
No, he was not happy with me. It's a long story. I thought his patron was some college guy running a scam. I missed the fact that that was a god. Yeah.
I, what? How do you. You know what? No, that makes sense for you.
Look, when I wasn't used to having my ears covered for a while, and that was when I met Pritch, and I couldn't exactly hear very well. It was
Okay.
it was complicated.
Okay. Whatever you say,
Mhm.
Jubilee.
I'm remembering. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to dunk you in a river at some point.
When that no longer risks infecting hundreds of people, feel free to do so.
Yeah. No, we're waiting for that. I'm going to wait for when you least expect it, and then you are going in the Pecking River.
I am going to be dunked.
Hmm.
Honestly, I
I
wouldn't
will
mind
not
that.
forget this. Well, good, because it's going to happen. And
Yeah.
that is a promise.
You know what's fucking wild?
Mm.
I can't take showers anymore. I tried a couple weeks ago, and when I went to put my hand in the water to test the temperature, just on autopilot, I don't know why I did it. It's not like I can feel it, but I put my hand in the water to test the temperature, and it blasted the ink off my hands and left just bones. That's so fucked up, right?
Yeah, that's. Mm,
I don't like
yeah.
it.
No, that's fucked up on like 8 different levels at least. Yeah. Holy peck. Hmm. Yeah, we're fixing this. Like, if for no other reason, we have the stupid dunking, which again I will remember, and me needing to do several other things that you have since lost. And again, you apparently lost your fucking stomach, which means, regardless of quarantine, after this, I'm taking you around. We're going on a fucking road trip.
If, no, when this is no longer a problem, the first thing I'm doing Well, the first thing I'm doing is probably taking a nap for like a month
Hmm.
because it has been so long since I've been able to sleep without nightmares. The second thing that I'm gonna do is take a long hot shower and then go find whatever this world's equivalent of fucking McDonald's is.
Hmm. Oh, I think I know where one is actually.
I want
Probably.
a shitty cheeseburger, god damn it.
Oh yeah, we can find you one.
I want a shitty cheeseburger and a strawberry milkshake.
Hmm.
It's such a silly thing to want, but
You know, of all the things that I've heard of people wanting, that's probably the least silly of them. Now, if you went saying that you wanted a rain of rubber chickens that screamed, then I would be like, you know, that's probably a weird thing to want. I don't know why you would want that, but sure, okay.
why is that something someone has said? That they
Well, it's
wanted
not
to
something that
rain
they
screaming?
wanted.
You mean
It's
rubber
something that,
chickens?
like, we had launched at us in the house.
A
Did
rain
Camille tell
of
you about
screaming
just how
rubber
fucked up the
chickens?
house was? Yeah.
I think you mentioned the house got a little
Mm-hmm.
wonky last time you visited.
Yeah, the fucking screaming chickens was apparently past Camille's doing.
Why?
I don't fucking know, ask him. I don't know why you put traps in a house, why you think, yes, this is a good thing to have in the house. It's probably like detective enrichment or something. I don't understand detectives. I get my enrichment by stealing from antique stores and bothering people.
I. You just flops and puts his head against Juvi's shoulder. Just. That is certainly a mental image.
Well, okay, only one specific antique store because I don't have beef with the owner anymore, but it's very funny to piss him off. It's a very angry little rabbit. It's funny.
I'm not going to say anything.
He's also, you know, Leo's best friend, so it's fine. I get a free pass. He can't get too mad at me.
Mm hmm.
God, I love these.
At some point, I need to, like, break into your guys' house and hide. Or not even break in, just, like, visit your guys' house
Mhm.
and hide a billion of, like, a tiny thing. I don't know what tiny thing. When Rio did it to me, it was ducks.
Oh, stars. You know that's going to give, for one, I mean, that's probably going to be enrichment for at least Camille and maybe Izumi. Probably Min when she comes to visit. Timmy might hide more.
I will recruit him.
I'm, I'm honestly terrified of where, if you team up with him, I think we'll be finding ducks for years.
That's the goal.
Horrifying. Thank you.
Listen, I am very polite. I am capable of some hot nonsense when I want to. Would you like to know something stupid I did on Valentine's Day once?
Sure.
So I've told you
Mm-hmm.
about the massive vanity problem the people at my old school had, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, for Valentine's Day, I bought a box of chocolates from Sam's General Store,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote a note on it that said, "For the hottest guy in school."
Oh, you did not.
And then I placed it in the mailroom.
Of course. Why do you keep saying you're polite? You're a fucking gremlin. That's what you are.
I can be very polite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can be about as polite as I can, you.
Listen, those guys were assholes. It was funny watching them fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not saying that they didn't deserve it. I'm quite certain that they all did, and I probably would have paid good money to watch the chaos.
I think I have a video of it.
You do?
Ortho, pull up the Valentine's Day record. And
Yes.
on on the table, uh, use mirror buzzes to life and spits out a little hollow screen with like 4 years worth of Valentine's Day shenanigans. And you scrolls over to uh I think junior year and taps it open. And it's a dust cloud fight of real kind.
Oh my God. Um, well, for the bit, does he get it? No, he doesn't. Great. Well, he tries to get popcorn. Delightful. Let's see. How does this hammer space roll go? Aw. Um, well, he goes to pull out a thing of popcorn, and instead pulls out a wreath of flowers that are cherry brandy roses and water lilies specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he blinks and shrugs one shoulder and just sets that on his head, and goes looking and is like, I swear I have popcorn in here somewhere. Ah, rude. Rude to me. I put the D there the first time. Okay, good. He's able to get the popcorn the second time and just pulls out a massive bucket of popcorn.
Meanwhile, Yu pulls out like a little baggie of apple slices that he hands to Juby.
He is taking both of these.
Do we think that's a good place to stop?
Yes. Yes.
These two just chilling on the floor watching people fight over a box of candy.
Mm-hmm. Aw. We turned it around. We did it.
Yeah!
Woohoo! Thank you. This was so much fun, Whirl.
Thank you. This was a delight. Thank you so much for playing with me. I had so much fun.
Woo!
All right, we ought to say goodbye to our listeners. Bye bye, listeners!
Bye.